Class, I'm sorry. I know I'm late, and I know I owe you an impromptu speech. But I thought that instead I could give you a prepared speech where I would give you more insight on random acts of kindness and in turn drop your final. How does that sound?
Awesome.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
All right. So, as all of you know, today we will be talking about random acts of kindness. Not only that, but you will each be giving your individual reports on your aspect of random acts of kindness. But before each of you present, I wanted to let you know where it all started. So, random acts of kindness are, as the name implies, friendly actions to a random stranger simply for the pleasure of positively impacting somebody's day. This notion was first came about by Ann Herbert, an American author who in 1982 wrote the words, quote, "Practice random acts of kindness and senseless acts of beauty," end quote, which she wrote on a placemat in a restaurant in California. Today you will each be presenting your research that you gathered in respect to random acts of kindness. These topics will include the term that is used to associate with random acts of kindness, our reaction to these random acts, as well as the organizations that spread these random acts.
Random acts of kindness can also be called altruism. Thomas Nagel, the author of The Possibility of Altruism, describes it as, quote, "a mere willingness to act in the consideration of other persons without the need of ulterior motives," end quote. Here's some examples of altruism.
Here you go, you dropped your keys.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Action.
Oh, is it empty? I'm going to fill up mine. I'll take yours with me.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
According to Jeffrey Cutler, a professor in the Educational Psychology Department at the University of Nevada, helper's high is a, quote, "magical feeling of exhilaration when we know that as a result of our efforts, someone's life is somehow enriched," end quote. It happens to all of us. We all get a sense of satisfaction and happiness after helping someone in a time of need. This is why so many people take the time to volunteer, work as counselors, and work in the medical field. All these jobs help people and enrich the lives of others, and when we do that, we become happier too. Helper's high is a direct reaction from altruistic activities. Even though you need to be totally selfish when partaking in these activities, it doesn't mean you can't get a good feeling from it. Money and other types of compensation are external rewards that would deem you non-altruistic. Helper's high is an internal feeling that you get from giving aid to people in need. As long as you're not helping someone because you want the good feeling and you're helping them for totally selfish reasons, there's no reason you can't feel good about what you're doing. The Stanford School of Medicine has recognized the connection between positive thinking and altruism. So in 2008, they founded an organization called the Center for Compassion in Altruism Research and Education. The goal of this organization is to, quote, "promoting, supporting, and conducting rigorous scientific studies of compassion and altruistic behavior," end quote. They will achieve this by, quote, "collaborating with a number of prominent neuroscientists, behavioral scientists, geneticists, and biomedical researchers to closely examine the physiological and psychological correlations of compassion and altruism," end quote.
Thank you, Sam. Now, keeping in mind the ideas of altruism, there are also several other studies that have further shown the benefits of random acts of kindness.
Keeping in mind the ideas behind altruism, several studies have further shown the benefits of performing random acts of kindness. Empirically speaking, most random acts of kindness have been shown to increase the levels of happiness for most people who engage in these types of actions. A study by Dr. Kiko Atake in health psychology at Kobe College and Dr. Satoshi Shimai, professor of psychology also at Kobe College, found that the study was designed to quantify the positive and negative effects of performing random acts of kindness. The study found that by carrying out these acts of kindness, an individual's level of subjective happiness can be increased. or how people experience the quality of their everyday lives. The study also found that an individual's level of subjective happiness could be increased by keeping track of the number of kind acts that they have done. It was further discovered that through counting kindnesses, individuals' desire to be kind to others increased, as they were more likely to think of themselves as compassionate, and they were more likely to simply extend these kind behaviors to other people. Participants of the study also found that before the end of giving acts of kindness, they reported that they thought about themselves and their future lives in more positive ways. Even though the benefits of both giving and random acts of kindness far outweigh the negative aspects of these activities, there is a potential for negative reactions to occur. A possible negative consequence of giving random acts of kindness is that some people may feel uncomfortable receiving these types of actions. In a study conducted by Dr. Kim Baskerville, a professor of sociology at Thomas Nelson Community College, and other sociologists, it was discovered that men were much more likely to have a negative response to a kind act than were females. This study involved measuring the reactions of random strangers when they were approached by an individual and given a flower. It was also discovered that even though someone may have good intentions when giving a random act of kindness to someone else, one must be careful to not become overbearing, as it may result in more negative responses.
Thank you, Kevin. Considering these many great advantages of random acts of kindness, it is highly advisable for people to engage in such activities. People can be involved by looking into joining various organizations or simply donating money to some of the organizations that will be covered.
A website by the name Random Acts of Kindness Organization directly fights and inspires the needs of people to establish a sense of community, which in their research they quote, that students who learn in a positive environment tend to have a better school experience, end quote. They intend on informing people of others' ideas and kindness and other activities to show examples through stories and videos. As a nonprofit, they provide plans of action and ways to help others randomly instead of throwing a bunch of money at donations. The idea is the random acts to touch hearts of another person, and by law, paying it forward, this could grow and spread exponentially. Some may not like to be acknowledged for their actions, and another group is called InspireMyKids.com. This was made on the basis of two girls who wanted to help people that they didn't know. These efforts came of the confident Emma and Julia Mogus when they created the Book with No Bounds Fund. The Book with No Bounds Fund, according to their mission statement, sends published books around the world to Aboriginal parts in Africa and Asia, hoping that they will raise the literacy rates. People make a profile through Pinterest or just submit their stories on the website of compassion and how they were impacted. Teachers have done similar things in the classrooms. Because it teaches people in self attempting to help someone improve their well-being also improves their own. Ardell, a graduate from George Washington University and leader in the wellness movement for 4 decades, states, quote, when kindness is expressed, healthy relationships are created. According to the Habitat for Humanity, which is another group, they team up with poor working class families who have lost their homes and they cannot repair them themselves. Habitat for Humanity has persisted only on minimal large donations, and luckily wealthy, famous people coincide with these kindness. These have only been a few instances of active inspiration, and people tend to be nice sporadically. It tends to come from the heart. If you are kind, one day it will come from your heart.
Thank you, Corey. Now that we have looked at the organizations involved in random acts of kindness, we will now be taking an in-depth look of the medical side of random acts of kindness.
As we saw earlier from Sam's book report, when you volunteer, your body receives a natural high. But what causes this high? According to a 2007 study conducted by Jane Bolivian, a psychology professor at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and multiple-time award winner for her research done in the field of psychology, she stated that people who gave social support to others had a lower mortality rate compared to people who didn't give support, even with controlling factors such as age, economic status, and gender. In the same study, married couples who provided support showed a decreased mortality rate even 5 years after their volunteering efforts. Volunteering also has a positive effect on those who suffer from mental issues such as depression. Evidence shows that if volunteering begins at an early age, that mental health issues rarely become a problem later on in life. This is largely due to the fact that volunteering gives us a sense of better life satisfaction and self-satisfaction. These levels of self and personal satisfaction are due primarily to the release of hormones while doing a good deed, such as volunteering or performing random acts of kindness. Giving back or volunteering has been linked to the release of oxytocin throughout the body. Oxytocin is commonly referred to as the attachment hormone, as it is commonly released throughout the body during times of attachment, such as sex, breastfeeding, or in this case, volunteering. Oxytocin is a hormone which is responsible for the feelings of warmth, euphoria, and connection to others. In a study by Paul Zak, who is the director at the Center of Neuroeconomic Studies at Claremont University, he found that giving a person 1 dose of oxytocin will cause people to give more generously and to feel more empathy towards others. 1 dose of oxytocin's effects last for approximately 2 hours. While volunteering, the release of oxytocin can lead to a cycle where one person's happiness triggers another, and so on and so on.
We have just learned of many aspects of random acts of kindness. And now I would like to ask one of you to please reiterate what we have just learned about. Jordan, come on down.
Fine, I'll do it. Today in class, we've discussed the origins of random acts of kindness, the many positives, the few negatives, altruism, and took a look at some of the work possible through organizations, and then finally we ended with the hormonal release of oxytocin and all of that's positive effects on the human body. If everyone were to just take some time out of their lives to help others out, the world would be a much better place. You'd be helping someone by brightening their days and making yourself healthier and happier. Random acts of kindness needs to start somewhere, so why not with you?